Today we're diving into John Squires' guitar work on I'm a Wheel with Liam Gallagher. This track is great if you want to add some new blues vocab into your playing. You also see this cool twist from the traditional blues in the chorus. So let's grab a guitar and dive into the main riff. So in its basic form, we're looking at like a question and answering theme. It's a bit like we're playing a lead guitar part and then we're going to a rhythm guitar part. So the lead guitar part, we're basing our shapes around this. We're in the key of A and we're using notes out of the Mixolydian scale. So that was A Mixolydian, but what we need to learn from that is this shape. And a very cliche thing to do in blues is, if we're in the key of A, here's our root note. This note here is the flat third. This is giving us a minor sound. And what a lot of blues guitarists do, if we're playing over dominant blues, which this is, we can either do a quarter note bend, which is we're bending it slightly sharp, or you can actually hammer the note from the minor third up to the major third, which is here. So what we see here, we've got the root note, then we're playing a double stop on the 2 5s, but quickly hammering on to the 6th fret of the G. Then our third finger is then playing the 7th fret of the G and the B, and back to that little hammer on. And then back to the root. Then it jumps up to the 8th fret E string. Little bluesy bend there as well. And finish on the root. So that's our lead guitar part. Then we go into this like another really typical blues rhythm. You might have already seen that or played that many times, and if you haven't, this is a real typical blues riff in the key of A, 5th, 6th, and the flat 7th, which we call A7. Then from there we're going back into this box position, and this time we're just playing the 2 5s together, not hammering on, but we're bending that a quarter note and then back to the root note on the 7th fret. Quick summary, we're using a question answer theme running throughout between rhythm and lead guitar, and the scale of choice is Mixolydian with a hint of the flat third bend. Then we go into the verse, which we are using the main riff, but we're actually adding in some more lead guitar parts. The first lick we hear is in shape 2 of the A minor pentatonic. But really, we want to just concentrate on this top box. The lick in question sounds like this. And right at the end of the verse we hear another chord. It's always been in the key of A, but at the end we hear this E chord, and then you'll hear John sort of playing this bend from the 7th fret up to the 9th fret. So then we go into the solo, and this is using mainly the minor pentatonic shapes 1 and shapes 2, and there's a little hint of major pentatonic. First box we're seeing is shape 2. Already learnt that with that first lick in the verse. There it is again, shape 2. We're actually starting on the flattened 7th, which is the 8th fret. And just going between them. Then he sort of slides into shape 1. And then we hear this little major pentatonic lick. Now I love this lick because it's simply just taking these 2 notes here, which are 2 frets apart, 5 on the high E, 7th fret on the B. And then if you kind of use that shape and go up 3 semitones, a tone and a half. It's really cool and quite easy to add into your own playing. Next verse, we see the riff again, and this time we're exploring shape number 4. Now, 12th fret is our root note, and this is a little fragment we need to learn for shape 4. So root notes on the 14th fret of the G, 13, 15. Even just learning, a couple of shapes and just using that main riff, you can actually have a little jam with yourself. Let me just quickly demonstrate what I mean. So we're using this shape here. Maybe let's take that bit that we just learned. And let's see what we can come up with. Okay, so that was a little jam, just sort of showcasing a few things that you can muck around with yourself. And right at the end of that verse, again, we're going to the key of E, and this time we're using this double stop, which is so cool. Remember those little dive shapes I showed you at the main riff, the 5 and 6, the 2 7s. If you take that up, you've got the 9 and 8th fret. And that gives you the 2 extra notes in the mixed leading scale. And you'll hear that a lot. But you see what I mean? You can use all the shapes that we've learned and just combine things together, like a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to create your own stuff. And then we move on to the chorus, and this is where we see that twist I was talking about at the start. We have been in the key of A major, but we switched to the key of D major in the chorus, which gives this really nice lift. The chords go D major to an A, to a G, back to a D, then to B minor, then an A. When John plays this live, he's actually just strumming away in open chords pretty much. But on the recording, you will hear these really nice lead lines. And on those lead lines, he's basically playing out of a D major scale. And he's adding some notes at the end. And he's playing over the A chord, which is basically playing the chord tones of an A. Well, first part of the lead line sounds like this. So it's got a mixture of like chord tones and notes outside, so we've got a little bit of tension relief. So the last part of that, we're playing out B minor to an E major. And scale-wise, over the B minor chord, he's playing a B minor pentatonic run. Over E, he's kind of thinking E mixed Lydian. Finishing off with this really cool 6th interval, and then 3rd interval. And on the second time around, the same thing. And then bending that 12th fret up a tone before going back to that main riff. And for the instrumental section, which comes in later, we're actually using the same scale, D major scale. Now, I must admit, in my transcription for this, I'm kind of floating between shape 2, shape 1, and shape 5 of the D major scale. Let me just show you notes very slowly so you can see. So this is the D major scale. And then shape 2, shape 5, sorry. So what I've kind of worked out is floating between all of them. What I probably would have done now is this. Which is basically far less moving around. Now, none of this is going to make any sense until you have a firm grasp of some basic theory. And that's why I've done this video up here, where I'll go through one of the most important lessons you're going to ever learn, and that is to learn this one scale and learn the harmony involved. Go and click on that right there, and I'll see you over there. Remember to discover, learn, and create something inspiring today. See you next time.